This is Steve. He is infamous for being unhinged, and I tried to take him bridleless for the first time in Gale Force Winds. Today, we see what happens when I give the horse that used to refuse to go in the arena every chance to say no.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. That feels really weird to be saying, but after lots of requests from friends and followers, I thought that I would take the plunge into YouTube and see where this takes us. I'll be honest, this feels very foreign. I am used to Instagram Reels, where I am normally doing voiceovers and they are heavily scripted, heavily edited. So standing here in front of a camera with no script in front of me, just talking, feels very, very weird. But I'm going to try and get comfortable with it. So the plan for today, if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen two main things. My Project Polo Pony videos, where I am trying to turn my nutty ex-racehorse Steve into a polo pony, and or my videos of me riding bridleless, because I have a bit of a death dish and I take all of my horses that I train bridleless at one point or another. Today, we are going to combine the two, and I'm going to ride Steve bridleless. If you've watched the Project Polo Pony videos, you'll know that this is a little bit ambitious because Steve has a history of being a complete and utter crackhead. But I remain optimistic. He is going so well in his schooling recently, which is not something that I ever thought I would say. He's come so far from being the horse that refused to go in an arena, absolutely hated schooling. He is now absolutely loving it, and he's stopping really nicely off my seat aids, he's really calm, he's turning nicely off my legs. So I think, I hope, for my sake, that he is actually going to be quite good bridleless. But it is still Steve, and if he says no about something, he says it in a very big way. He will throw a complete tantrum. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Either he's going to be an absolute angel and it's going to be really good fun, or we're going to get some really entertaining content. I'm going to go and grab him in from the field. It is ridiculously windy today, which is so annoying because it has been sunny for like a whole week, and the day that I go to film and the day that I go to take a horse bridleless, it's really windy. So that might not work in my favour.
Hi, baby.
I have retrieved the horse. I couldn't film me catching him because he's in a herd, and one of the horses in the herd is my, I'm going to say yearling. She's like 11 months old now. I think she's a yearling in a week or so actually. But she absolutely loves attention, so trying to get any other horses in is a bit of a battle, and I didn't really fancy trying to film it. So I think most people watching this video will have come from the Project Polo Pony videos, so they will already know most of Steve's past. But in case you don't know, Steve, I call him an ex-racehorse, he never actually raced. He did not want to go in the stalls, and after doing a bit of Facebook stalking, it sounds like it was not a quiet disagreement. So he went to a racehorse retraining yard, where I don't even think he stayed there for a month before he got sold to a girl to do dressage and show jumping. So she started trying to work with him, but ended up having a lot of problems, and it turned out that he had kissy spine. So she got the full op done, not just the ligament snip, he had the full bone shave, and went through the full rehab plan. But even after all of that, he still refused to work in the arena. I think he was fine out hacking, but to go in the arena was a big no. So he went back to the retraining yard to be sold as a happy hacker only, which was when we bought him. Steve was 5 when we bought him, and we literally just bought him for my mum to hack. But the first year that we had him, he probably only hacked out a handful of times because he had such bad feet. Typical ex-racer, thoroughbred, just absolutely awful feet, and because of it he wasn't particularly sound. He had a very quiet first year while we sorted out his feet, but I honestly think that did him the world of good, mentally and physically, to just have a year practically completely off. And after we got him sound, he had 2 years of just happy hacking with my mum, until last December I decided I wanted to try and turn him into a polo pony. Even though he was good for hacking at that point, he still absolutely hated the arena. He would plant, he would spin, he would go around with his head up in the air like a giraffe. He does the Spanish walk really randomly. He also does it in the trot as well. He'll just go along and every stride he'll just strike out his front legs. It's so weird. I did loads of groundwork with him and just light schooling just to show him that schooling can be fun. And after a few months of work, he is now absolutely loving it. And we've also introduced the polo mallet, which he was absolutely perfect for. Really surprised me. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy.
Okay, I'm hopping on here as a voiceover to try and explain some of the chaos that you're about to witness. So, as I mentioned before, it was very, very windy this day, and because of that, Steve was feeling very frisky. And he's done these little bunny hops before in the start of his sessions, and the sessions have never ended well. That's normally after he's had a few days off, but this was just the wind. Had him very excited. God, he's so shiny. So, as you can see, my brakes weren't great. Normally he stopped straight away off my breathing, but I was having to use a fair bit of rein, which was not promising for me having to take the bridle off. And the jogging continued. And then this was my first attempt at turning him off of my leg, and basically every time I gave him a leg aid he just thought that meant go today, and so we just ended up with this. So I decided it was probably just best to take him for a trot, try and get some energy out, and it seemed to just wind him up even further. It's just the more he did, the more excited he got. So I came back to the walk and I thought, let's try doing some of this neck craning stuff, let's see how he reacts. And again, any aid just basically meant go to him today. I chucked my whip on the floor because I definitely did not need another going forward aid. And again, stopping off the neck rope, not very successful, needed a fair bit of rein. Then, determined as ever, I thought, you know what, let's try and go for a trot on the neck rope, let's see how this goes. And he just decided to leave. I had zero chance whatsoever. And so I thought, you know what, let's just go for a canter. Let's see if we can finally get some of this energy out and get him going a bit. And this is when this moment happened. Yeah, so while that doesn't bother me at all while I've got a bridle on, and I was actually laughing that entire time, it's really not ideal for taking the bridle off. So it was kind of at that point that I thought, you know what, we might have to call it a day today. I might not have very good survival chances. So I did a bit more work off the neck rope with him just to prep him for next time, see if we could get that a little bit better. And it got slightly better, but it was still like, here, I went to stand with my leg and he just straight away went forwards. The right canter was a little bit more sane, which is surprising because that's normally his worst rein. Although I didn't really have that much steering in it, to be honest. It was more Steve just deciding where he wanted to go and me going along for the ride. And then as one final exercise, I decided to just trot him around the arena without a contact, which is kind of the goal with polo ponies, is that we ride without a contact the whole time and they stay in their rhythm, and he was really having none of it. I had to half halt him about every 2 seconds because he just kept getting faster and faster and faster. So that just really reinforced my decision for not taking the bridle off today, because I think we would have just ended at a flat out gallop.
I chickened out. It is just so windy. It's practically a storm out there. And Steve, good boy, was very excited, as you probably saw in the videos. And while that doesn't bother me in the slightest when I have a bridle on, I didn't really have much of a chance without a rider. I would have had 0 brakes. And I had some steering, but only at speed. He did not want to walk. So, I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to try again, either tomorrow or the next day, and hope that it's better weather. He got some good practice going off the neck rope, and his steering's absolutely fine. It is just the brakes needed work. It is 2 days later. I'm going for round 2. I had no chance of trying to film yesterday because the weather was even worse than the day before. We just kept getting hit with hailstorms, but it's looking pretty promising today. There's no wind, it's quite cold, but otherwise we might be okay to go bridleless. My expectations are kind of on the floor for him, but if we can just go bridleless without bolting off and without me coming close to death, I will consider that a win. You're going to be blinded or you're going to be in the dark. So what is going on?
Right, 2 days later and we are back for round 2 on a much nicer day. And right off the bat, Steve was so much calmer. No jogging. Oh, hold on, one little bit of jogging, but that was it. That was his one moment. I'll allow him that. He was just a little excited to get going. So we went straight into working off the neck rope, and just straight away, look at the difference. I had brakes, I have steering without him trying to shoot off. So we went up into the trot and had the same Steve, very chilled, very relaxed, going off my neck rope very nicely. He looks so happy in himself, it's absolutely adorable. And perfect brakes, just off my breathing, don't even have to use the neck rope. So I decided to go for it and just take the bridle off. You see all those videos online of people taking the bridle off and like leaning forward and taking it off themselves, which I have done quite a few times before, but I did not want to do today, and I don't think I'm going to do again in the future, because a little while ago I did that on a reactive mare, and as I was doing it, she whipped around 180 degrees and bolted, and I not only didn't have a bridle on, I also didn't have a neck rope on that day, and I came off and ended up in A&E. Probably should be replacing my hat, to be honest, but we're just going to forget about that. So I got my cameraman, aka my mum, to take the bridle off for me while my heart was going 100 miles an hour, because this is actually the first time that I've gone bridleless since that incident, I think. But I had no reason to worry. Steve was unbothered. So I asked him to walk forward, but his first response was just, "Huh? Are you insane? Do you realise we don't have a bridle on?" But after a little bit of reassurance, we got him moving, and I immediately checked that I had brakes, which were successful. Steve decided to test his newfound freedom with a very good stretch. To be honest, I think he was just searching for weeds in the arena. Just look at what a chilled dude he is, and oh, I think cameraman applications are open, because what is this? And he was being perfect so far, so we went up into the trot, and again, was just so chill. I am just absolutely amazed by this. To be honest, I was kind of expecting to be decked or bolted with or anything but a completely chilled Steve, but he was just amazing, and even had brakes coming down from the trot. Honestly, I could just give you like 10 minutes worth of footage of him being a perfect angel, because he just did not put a foot wrong. He looks very proud of himself. He knows where the camera is. And as you're watching this, bear in mind that probably only a month ago, this horse refused to canter in the arena. He was not only weak and struggled with it, and while there's still work to do, he's a lot better now, but just mentally, he just absolutely refused to, and would just either not go, or he would buck, or he would plant. So the fact that he is now cantering around bridleless this nicely is amazing. And the right rein you can see here is a little bit trickier for him, but he still went for it, gave it a good go. Even went for one of our little rollbacks into the canter, which, while he was absolutely amazing for, I decided not to do it again because he got a little spicy from it, and I didn't want to continue fizzing him up while I didn't have a bridle on, so I gave him a pat and called it a day for that movement. All in all, first bridleless experience with Steve, 5 out of 5 stars. absolute legend of a horse. So cool. We'll definitely be doing it again, and we'll definitely be using it as part of his training like I do with all of my other horses. It's so good for not only building their rideability but also for getting more trust with them, and he's so proud of himself. It's hilarious.
Okay, my camera has died, so I'm filming on my phone, but he was such a superstar. He was just absolutely amazing. So calm, so rideable, such a good boy. He's absolutely exhausted now. I've never known such a short schooling session exhaust him so much. And I think it was just because he had to use so much brain power. Like literally 2-3 months ago, this horse completely refused to go in the arena, and we were sold him on the premise that he would only ever be a happy hacker because he hated going in the arena. So just the fact that he's going bridleless now is a little bit insane to me. It's been a lot of work, but I'm so pleased with him. If I look rough, I just went to dressage competition on very little sleep. But that is all that we have for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed watching some of Steve's shenanigans. Please do subscribe, it will really support me and my completely sensible decision to have 9 horses. I'll see you all the next time something chaotic is happening and I decide to bring the camera out. Bye!